Hey guys, it's Miya here. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are returning subscribers, click the like button and comment down below your favorite emoji of the week. And if you guys are brand new subscribers or just coming to watch me, why don't you guys click the like button, click that subscribe button down below. And in today's video, I will be reviewing all of my eyeshadow palettes and all of my face palettes. And I only have 2 face palettes. I know, sucks, right? But what you gonna do? I literally use 1 palette for my face, and another for highlighter. That's besides the point. Let's just get into today's video and let's just have fun. Again, I will be reviewing all my eyeshadow palettes and 2 of my face palettes. Hey guys, in today's video, as I said, I will be reviewing a bunch of my eyeshadow palettes and 2 of my face palettes. Starting off, the first palette I ever, second palette that I've ever owned or bought myself was the 35C palette. I use this one sometimes, but I don't use it all the time like I'd like to. But I will show you guys the formula inside this palette. And this palette is gorgeous. I love it, but it's not something that I'd wear every day. But here is the color story. It's super pretty. I love this color story. Some of these shadows I wasn't really impressed with, but overall I'd have to give this palette a pretty good rating, and I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. Some shadows, again, I wasn't really impressed with the formula, but like, who am I kidding? The shimmers were great, but some of them were a little hard panned, and I don't necessarily like that about a palette. I want my shimmers to be really smooth, like the all-inclusive glitter that's right there. I literally, as you can see, I literally had to dig my brush into it. I used my finger because the brush wasn't really working, but I really had to dig my finger in this shadow again. This shadow wasn't really working for me. That's why it looks a little used, because I used it a lot just to dig out some of the product. But overall, I will have to say that this palette is a good purchase, and I'm glad I purchased it, but the glitter formula, how they did this palette, I was a little disappointed because they have one like chunky glitter in this palette. I would have loved to see more chunky glitter formulas, but I'm not really used to using the chunky glitter formula. So this glitter right here was a little tricky for me to use, but once I got the hang of it, it was fine. Moving on from this palette, I mean, This palette, I would tell you guys to go pick this up, but be careful with that one glitter I showed you because it's a little tricky to work with. It's actually a straight up glitter. I don't think it should be in a palette. But what am I gonna do? I purchased this. This was $14. It is not anymore. It is $25. I got this on a discount, at Ulta, and it was the best $14 I've ever spent. Don't get me wrong about that. I love the shades in this palette, but specifically talking about this palette, the glitter, that one glitter, I wish it had more that I could work with, but it only had that one glitter that was kind of hard to work with. So going to my next palette, I know this order will be a little out of order, but this is the order that I purchased the palettes in. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do it that way. Second palette that I purchased that was out of my own money is the Morphe X Jeffree Star palette, just like the 35C Morphe palette was. And I love this packaging. I'm a sucker for pink holographic packaging. Like, I mean, look at this baby. Like, she is gorgeous. I can't wait to show you guys what she looks like. I am not doing swatches in this video. I will be doing swatches in a next video if you guys would like, on all of the palettes that I've used on my face in every single video. But I'm not going to be doing swatches. I love this palette dearly. This palette is very, very well made. I literally fell in love with this palette once I got it, and I fell in love with his brushes when I got them as well, and I got his setting spray as well. His setting spray smells like strawberries, and it is amazing. I still haven't used it, but we'll see. So this packaging is holographic. It has a solid pink back, and I don't know if you guys are ready to see this palette, to see the inside of it. I love how Morphe collaborated with Jeffree on a 30 shade palette, and it comes with a huge mirror. Again, like I said with the other palette, there is one chunky glitter, and yeah, I love my glitter, but I would have liked to see more chunky glitter in this palette, just like I did with the other one that I reviewed a few minutes ago. There is one chunky glitter, and it is called Millions. Again, I dug my brush into that shade, and there wasn't really that much payoff, and I wanted a look that would give me payoff, and so I literally had to dig my finger in the shade Millions to get what I wanted. There are some glitter shades in this palette, but not like the shade Millions. I really, really enjoy the color story. I wish they had, this palette had more pink, like more of that pink tone, more like red tones, but you get what you pay for. There were only maybe four green shades, and all the green shades I loved. This palette, I have nothing bad to say about it, except that you literally, if you guys purchase this palette on jeffreestarcosmetics.com, I will say you literally have to dig millions out of the pan with your finger. I would not advise you to use a brush. But overall, I loved this palette. I still love it to this day. I love how big the mirror is. The mirror in this palette is freaking huge. I love it so much. So if I had to rate this palette, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, the color story is gorgeous. The mirror is perfect for different types of things. It is good for applying eyeshadow. The pinks in this palette are so gorgeous, and the browns and the greens and the silvers and the pink and the oranges. I was really, really surprised. Morphe and Jeffree pulled through with this palette. I wish there was a couple more oranges in this palette, but what can you do? I wish that they had a lot more colors in this palette. Like, I wish they had a variety of color. I wish they had their variety of pink, their variety of greens, their variety of oranges, their variety of reds, browns, blacks, blues, you know, and purples. But yeah, enough about that. This is a great color story. I just wish they had more colors to look forward to. So yeah, moving on. Sorry about that. Moving on. After I got the 35C from Morphe, and then I got the Jeffree Star palette, and then I got the Nikita Dragon palette. And let me tell you, I'm a sucker for dragon packaging. But you open this bad boy up, and there are the shades. There are your multiple neutral shades. There are your more of the nighttime bright neutral shades, and then here are your more purpley blue shades. Then this row is your pinks and your purples and your glitter, and then down here is more of that like blue, green, gray, purple situation there. I will say a couple things about this palette. This palette is a great color story. I love how this palette goes from your neutrals to a little bit more neutrals, and then your deeper tones, then it goes back to your lighter, brighter tones, and then it goes back to your grays, browns, blues, and stuff like that. I do love this palette. The formula I am not too crazy about. This formula is very, very patchy, and I don't know why. I am currently using P. Louise base, and when I use this palette, I have to keep reapplying each shade. And a palette should be each color in a palette should be one swipe, blended out, and then reapply to see if you need more. You have to reapply more and more with this palette. Don't get me wrong, best $30 I've ever spent. I got nothing bad to say about Morphe and Nikita. The collaboration on this palette, I just don't like the fact that I have to keep applying more and more colors to get the payoff, to get the color payoff. I want something that is boom, done, one swipe, you know. But this palette is gorgeous. I still use it to this day. Yeah, this palette is super fun. So I hope you guys purchase this, whatever you guys want to do. Please, I am asking everyone to not take my word on this, take my word for this palette. Because you guys might have different opinions than, you guys might have some of the same, you guys might have similar opinions to what I have to say about this palette, but you also want to have your own opinion, not just go off of somebody else's opinion, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want you guys to go out and buy something if you guys listen to me. I don't want you guys, like, I want you guys to go out and buy something if you guys love it, if you guys are like, oh wow, man, I gotta have this, like, I think this palette is amazing. I want you guys to go off your gut instinct. I don't want you guys to go off mine, because my opinion could be totally different from your guys' opinion, and I don't want that, okay? So I'm just gonna be blatantly and completely honest with you. This palette could have worked on their formula a little bit more. So yeah. So after the Nikita Dragon palette was purchased, I purchased a few months after Nikita's collaboration with Morphe, I purchased another palette a few months later. And that is the Manny MUA Glam palette. Collaborated with Morphe. I love this palette. Don't get me wrong, I love this palette. But some of these shades, oh, and if you guys look at the squares, these are highlighters, so do what you guys want with these. The highlighters are great, like good, but they're kind of like, how would I say this and not bash Morphe? They're kind of like not like, ooh, she's got highlighter on. I don't like when you have to be like, ooh, she's got highlighter on to notice her makeup. These highlighters work for my skin tone, no problem, but for someone who has a lighter skin tone than me, I'd get a little worried, because these two shades, this one is more see-through, and this one is more, the top one is more like, ooh, gold. So I would not recommend using these on fair skin tones. The eyeshadow formula, besides the point, the eyeshadow formula was great. It was just a lot more fallout, and I want something that'll stay in the pan and not go all over the place. Don't get me wrong, I love this palette, I love Manny, I love Morphe. But I don't like how these shades are just all over the place, you know, all over the place, just kind of dispersing itself. So those are my thoughts on the Morphe and Manny collaboration type deal. I do love this palette. I will continue using it in future videos. But it is a little tricky to work with. And when I mean tricky, I mean the highlighters are great, but it doesn't look glowy enough. Like, see, I have no makeup on and my skin looks super glowy. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to the face palettes now. So the first face palette that I have is the Essence Pure Nude highlighting palette. And don't get me wrong, Essence makes good highlighters. But for me, I thought that these highlighters were gonna be a little too light for me, and I was like, ooh, when I looked at them at Ulta, I was like, ooh, they're gonna be a little too light for me and a little too see-through. Come to find out, they're not see-through. They're not a little too light like I thought. Although the formula is great, I love it. I love Essence. They're amazing. I just didn't really think that I would reach for the gold, but I guess I did, and I love the gold. I really haven't touched the two lighter shades in this highlighting palette, but I'm gonna test those out in a video, and I'm just gonna have fun with this to see if I can get more payoff. But although Essence is a drugstore brand, I give them credit for making this palette rock. I didn't think this palette would rock with my skin tone because I'm a little bit on the darker side. I'm a little bit of that darker, you know, skin tone, where I don't really think that gold highlighters and lighter highlighter, pink highlighters would work on my skin tone, but come to find out, they do. And it was a little scary for me to be put in that position because I didn't know how it would perform. Because I swatched it on my arm and I was like, ooh, it's not gonna turn out good if it's on my face. But although 10 out of 10 would recommend, I love this palette. I haven't used it in a while, which I am going to start using again because it's just gonna be a waste if I don't use it at all. And this has been in my collection for the past couple of months, and I feel bad that I'm not using a product that I bought. Okay, moving on to the next face palette that I love, and this is a brand that I shop at all the time. Again, it's Morphe, and I could never go wrong with Morphe. They're amazing. Every time I go in, they're like, oh, hey, Miya, right? What you looking for today? And so I love my Morphe team that I have here, and they are amazing people. Shout out to y'all, Morphe. I can't explain the gratitude that I have for you guys about making sure I make that makeup journey that I'm going on right now. So Morphe, if you guys see this, shout out to you guys. I love you guys. And that's it. Back to the palette. I love this palette. And when I went into the Morphe store, my Morphe store here, I was like looking at these face palettes and I was like, I'm not sure which one would work with my skin tone. I'm not sure which one would work with my foundation. I'm not sure which one would work with my concealer, my powder, whatever that I have on my face that day. And I was lucky enough to talk to a beauty artist at Morphe, and they were so kind to me, and they led me in the right direction to lean towards on getting a face palette. And at the time, they were $14 on sale. I forgot what sale it was, but now they retail for $24. And I was led in the right direction, I hope and I think, and I picked up the Morphe 8M Medium Vibes palette, and it has more of those, like a banana powder for setting under your eyes, setting your forehead, and then 2 bronzers, one's light, one's dark, and then a contour, 2 kinds of blushes, a coral and a pink, and 2 highlighters, which is a champagne and a gold highlighter. This palette has been my savior. Like, it saved me through how many looks that I've done on my YouTube channel. and I really enjoy this. So if you guys have skin tones like me, and I know there are a bunch of you out there, go pick up the 8M Medium Vibes palette. I love it, and you guys are gonna love it, but not all products work for different people. It might just only work for me, but why not give this a try, and go pick this up at your local Morphe store. Moving on, I'm sorry if I'm like kind of scratching my nose a little bit. I'm not picking my nose in any means. The next eyeshadow palette that I bought and that I was like super excited for this launch, it came out with the palette, lip glosses, brushes, and I was just super excited about this palette coming out in 2020. It was like when we were in the pandemic, like we were still in the midst of this pandemic. I was like, this pandemic has brought so much stress and so much pain for a lot of people because we don't get to see our friends, you know. And I'm glad Morphe collaborated with an artist on this one and came out with a rocking palette. And I remember at the beginning of this pandemic, nobody could go on vacation, nobody can go anywhere, right? We were all stuck in our homes. We were all in that same boat. And we were all kind of adjusting to this pandemic life. And when I saw this palette come out, guys, I was like, I need this palette. Give it to me. I need it. I want it. I need it. It's gonna bring joy to this pandemic world. And when I saw this palette and when I got my hands on it, I got my hands on the glosses. They're somewhere in my kit. I'm not gonna pull those out because I don't have the time. When this palette came out, I literally was like, I have to go to Morphe. I have to pick this up. I have to do a video on it. I literally have to. Like, it's my duty to the people, my subscribers, because you guys didn't know what was coming out, what was pre-pandemic, and what is pandemic makeup. And a lot of products and brands were on hold in the beginning of the pandemic, but now things are starting to lighten up. Now things are starting to open back up, and a lot of brands are like, we need to get things that we've held on for a year out to the makeup world. And when this palette came out, let me tell you, I was so ecstatic. I was so excited. I was all of that. I, as a consumer, as a makeup lover, and as just a ordinary human, I was like, what? Where did this come from? And that's the exact reaction I want to get from you guys when you guys get this palette, or when you guys see me open this palette up in this video. I really love this palette, and it is the Morphe 35S palette. It is the 35S Sweet Oasis palette. I really hope you guys love the colors as much as I do. I still use this to this day. I'm like, ooh, I want to pull this palette out, and it gives me everything that I need. This one doesn't come with a mirror, which I was fine with. But you got your 2 rows of your neutrals, you got your still neutral, but you still got you're going into your pinks and a little bit of your purples. You got your browns, you got your grays, you got your, and then over here you got your more of your pinks and your blues. And as you guys can tell, this palette is a little dirty because I use this on the daily. It's in my daily makeup routine if I want to wear makeup when I'm not even filming a video for YouTube. This palette, I'd have to say, is amazing. There are no chunky glitters in this palette, which is amazing. I love this color story. We got your neutrals if you guys want to go neutral girl or neutral guy. It doesn't really matter. You got your bold pinks, you got your bold blues, you got your lighter pinks, you got your lighter blues. You literally have everything and every color on vacation that you would need in this palette. And there are 35 shades. This palette is amazing. I am gonna have to do another look for this with this palette, and I'm super excited for this. Every time I open it, I'm super excited. I can't wait to continue to use this, and hopefully you guys get this as well, because the formulas in this palette are absolutely stunning. They're smooth like butter. You get the payoff. You don't have to keep digging into each shadow. Like I said in the previous palettes that I've showed you guys tonight, you guys won't have to do that with this palette. So moving on, I saved the best for last. Last month was Pride Month, and I really am a supporter of LGBTQ plus community. I am a supporter. I love helping out, or I love supporting these brands, and I love supporting them through their journey. Pride 2021 was last month, and it was a little bit of, it was fun. And I personally didn't get the first Pride collection with Morphe, but I got it this year, and I'm super excited to show you guys this palette. This palette I've used in one of my videos, and I'm super excited to show you guys in this video. In this video, I was mostly excited for this palette because I know some of you guys haven't seen this palette or haven't even purchased it for yourselves or for a friend. But I am very excited to show you guys this, and it is the 2021 Live with Love Pride palette, and I love the packaging. It is rainbow like the LGBTQ community is. I am a literal supporter. I have the mirror, I have the brush set, and I have the palette. And if you guys haven't watched all of my videos, go watch them. They're fun to watch. I do unget ready with me videos. I do all types of videos with makeup, and with me sitting in front of my camera. In this collection, this collaboration was so much fun for me to film and for me to just be myself. And I'm a color bitch, let me tell you. I am a color bitch. Like, I love color. It's everything that I'm known for. In this palette, I'm super excited to show you guys. You guys have a kind of medium-sized mirror with your reds and your pinks and your oranges and your browns and your golds and your greens and your yellows and your blues and your purples. And I mean, this palette is amazing. I have nothing bad to say about this. The formula is absolutely outstanding. I can't wait for you guys to try this and go pick this up and just play with it and make art. So that is my last palette of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I was just being honest and telling you guys my honest thoughts about this, all my palettes that I own and that I love. I'm not trying to shame any brands, to be clear. I am not trying to shame anyone or any brand. I just specifically don't like a certain formula in a palette, but everything else is fine. So I just want to clear the air when I say some palettes do, some palettes don't really work for me. When I say I really don't like them, I really kind of don't like them, but I'll deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun for me to make, really fun for me to show you all of my palettes in my makeup collection. I am really excited for you guys to watch the next 4 videos on my channel, and I can't wait for the future and what it holds. I plan to continuously keep buying more and more. If Morphe wants to sponsor me, go ahead. I'm not against brands sponsoring me, but that would be nice as well. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a comment, say hey, we want more of these eyeshadow palette collections and all that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and watching it all the way through. I hope you guys have a great Thursday night. I can't wait to see what the future holds for my channel. Thank you guys and have a great night. Bye. See you guys in the next one.